Hi, SimplyFun fans! Today I would like to highlight a few of my games that are especially great for bringing laughter to your game table. Let's take a look! In Feats of Cheese, a stacking game for ages 7 and up, players add cheese and mice to the pedestals. When a pedestal gets knocked over, that player who knocked it over gets no points, but the other players multiply their mice times the number of colored cheese wedges to see what their score is for that. When the bag of cheese is empty, the game is over. Person with the most points wins in Feats of Cheese. Next up, we have Cahoots, a game for ages 8 and up, best played in teams, but also adaptable for individual play. In this game, roll the dice, then draw a card from the category that you rolled. Maybe it's sound off, where you have to make that sound effect and get your teammates to guess. Or maybe it's a show, where you show what you're trying to illustrate charade style, or tell, where you give instructions to one of your teammates for the actions. Or maybe you rolled on tongue-tied, which is like the old-style telephone game where you whisper this phrase all the way down your team and see who gets it closest at the end. Or maybe it's second hand, where you just simply draw this item. But the twist is you have to draw it with your non-dominant hand. Lots of laughs guaranteed in Cahoots. Do It Again is a game for ages 7 and up that gets you up and moving. This game starts with a draw pile and a pawn, and you move the pawn the number of places indicated on the draw pile, and that's how you determine which player goes next. Then that player draws the card. If it's an action, they start or add to the action sequence, and they have to do these all in memory, no matter how long the chain might get. Sometimes you might draw a no action card, and in which case you just discard it and the game moves on. This is a game that challenges your memory because once you look at these action cards and do them, they all get flipped over, and nobody knows what they are, and they have to remember for next time. Lots of fun with these silly movements and sounds in Do It Again. Wake Up Stars is a game for our youngest players ages 3 and up that helps them to identify and talk about their feelings. In this game, players spin the spinner, then they turn over one of the stars. They share something that makes them feel the emotion that the star is showing, then they put the star on their board. If the player spins the spot that has 2 stars, they get to draw 2 stars and share their feeling with one, and then match the face of the other one by making a silly face, or an angry face, or a scared face. You can also get a chance to say what makes Tibber happy or sad or angry in Wake Up Stars. Next, we have Walk the Dogs. This game has 63 little dogs in 7 different breeds, and they all start off in a long line at the beginning of the game. As the game progresses, players draw cards and they start to build their own personal line of dogs by grabbing 1, 2, or 3 dogs from the front or back of the stack. The goal is to get as many of the same breed in a row as you can. If a player gets 5 in a row, they instantly win the game. Special cards in this game include the leash, where you can grab dogs from your opponent's stack, the bone, which gives extra points to the player who has the least amount of dogs in their personal stack, or watch out for the dog catcher. The dog catcher makes everybody turn in their longest length of exposed breeds back into the doggy bag in Walk the Dogs. And lastly, we have Pickles Pigtails, a storytelling and memory game for ages 6 and up. In this game, players roll the dice and advance pickles around the board. Most of the time, if you land on a space, you'll simply draw a card, place it in front of you, and add to the story that all the other players have contributed to. You have to remember in which order the story pieces go. But if you land on one of these special places, you might add a card without adding to the story, or swap an element of the story, or remove an element of the story. Then all players have to remember the changes when it's their turn to tell the story again. The rooster played the piano in his castle in Pickles Pigtails. Now that you've taken a closer look at these games, which one do you think might be the most fun and the funniest for your family to enjoy?